Hey students, I'm back with another story for you. And today we're going to be taking a quick break from Tristram and Isolde to jump right back into Hawaiian legends of ghosts and ghost gods. So, like I said, this is a quick story. I just kind of flipped it open to about the front here of the book, and it is called Kalo-eke-eke, the Timid Taro. I have no idea what it's about, but hopefully it's a fun one. So let's jump in. Here we go. A myth is a purely imaginative story. A legend is a story with some foundation in fact. A fable tacks on a moral. A tradition is a myth or legend or fact, handed down from generation to generation. The old Hawaiians were frequently myth makers. They imagined many a fairy story for the different localities of the islands, and these are very interesting. The myth of the two taro plants belongs to South Kona, Hawaii, and affords an excellent illustration of Hawaiian imagination. The story is told in different ways, and came to the writer in the present form. A chief lived on the mountainside above Hukena. There his people cultivated taro, made kapa cloth, and prepared the trunks of koa trees for canoes. He had a very fine taro patch. The plants prided themselves on their rapid and perfect growth. In one part of the taro pond, side by side, grew two taro plants, finer, stronger, and more beautiful than the others. The leaf stalks bent over in more perfect curves. The leaves developed in graceful proportions. Mutual admiration filled the hearts of the two taro plants, and resulted in pledges of undying affection. One day, the chief was talking to his servants about the food to be made ready for a feast. He ordered the two especially fine taro plants to be pulled up. One of the servants came to the home of the two lovers and told them that they were to be taken by the chief. Because of their great affection for each other, they determined to cling to life as long as possible, and therefore moved to another part of the taro patch, leaving their neighbors to be pulled up instead of themselves. But the chief soon saw them in their new home, and again ordered their destruction. Again they fled. This happened from time to time until the angry chief determined that they should be taken, no matter what part of the pond they might be in. The two taro plants thought best to flee, therefore, took to themselves wings and made a short flight to a neighboring taro patch. Here again, their enemy found them. A second flight was made to another part of South Kona, and then to still another, until all Kona was interested in the perpetual pursuit and the perpetual escape. At last there was no part of Kona in which they would be concealed. A friend of the angry chief would reveal their hiding place, while one of their own friends would give warning of the coming of their pursuer. At last they leapt into the air and flew on until they were utterly weary and fell into a taro patch near Waiohinu. But their chief had ordered the imu, cooking place, to be made ready for them, and had hastened along the way on foot, trying to capture them if at any time they should try to alight. However, their wings moved more swiftly than his feet, so they had a little rest before he came near to their new home. Then again they lifted themselves into the sky. Favoring winds carried them along, and they flew a great distance away from South Kona, into the neighboring district of Kau. Here they found a new home under a kindly chief. Here they settled down and lived many years under the name Kalo-eke-eke, or the Timid Taro. A large family grew up about them, and a happy old age blessed their declining days. It is possible that this beautiful little story may have grown out of an ancient Hawaiian unwritten law, which sometimes permitted the subjects of a chief to move away from their home and transfer their allegiance to some neighboring ruler. All right, that's the end of that. Like I said, it's a quick one, but not a bad one. And I appreciated how this myth went into the details about how it could have been founded based in reality, using the taro plants as a metaphor for people who wanted to transfer tribes, essentially, in ancient Hawaii. And one other thing that I really, really appreciate about this story and wanted to share again was that introduction here, where they talk about the difference between a myth, a legend, and a fable, because I've shared all of these with you. And while I've thought a little bit about the differences between all of those different things, and I try to label them accordingly when I'm doing the readings, I don't always really go into that. So this could be debated. The author, William D. Westervelt, his opinion on what makes up a myth, what makes up a legend, what makes up a fable, but it is a good definition just the same, regardless of whether or not you want to pick it apart. So I'm going to share it one more time. A myth is a purely imaginative story. A legend is a story with some foundation in fact. A fable tacks on a moral. A tradition is a myth or legend or fact handed down from generation to generation. I do like that. And a lot of these stories were originally stories from an oral tradition handed down from generation to generation of just people telling stories to their younger relatives before it was put into written word. That's how myths, legends, fables, folklore, that's how all of that really came into present day originally. So I like that. This was a little treat, especially for such a small story. But, okay, that's going to conclude it for today. Per usual, I hope you all stay happy, stay healthy, and stay in the pursuit of knowledge. Bye-bye.